Dear students, good morning to all of you. Welcome to this virtual class. Last period we are discussing that aggregate supply and the concepts of aggregate supply. So I will discuss what is aggregate supply. Aggregate supply is the total money of value of total supply of goods and services. Money value of total supply of goods and services available for purchasing by an economy. In an economy, the what are the goods and services are available that an economy can purchase, means all the people, households, farms, governments, they are able to purchase during that given period. Or whenever we are discussing that national income or measurement of the national income, in that expenditure method, that is that private final consumption expenditure plus government final consumption expenditure plus gross domestic capital formation plus change in stock plus net exports. So these are the components to find out the national income by that expenditure methods, and that was that GDP at market price. So GDP market price minus depreciation plus net factor income from abroad minus net indirect taxes is to be called that NNP, or net national product at factor cost, which is to be called that national income. So it is here written, I am here, it is the national income or net national product at factor cost, symbolically NNP at factor cost. And I have already said J.M. Keynes or John Maynard Keynes, who has explained that aggregate supply, the components, these are that one is that consumption expenditures, that is C, and another is that saving. So I was discussing that aggregate supply equal to consumption plus saving. So here is that C equal to consumption expenditure and S equal to saving. So aggregate supply equal to consumption saving. According to Keynes, we have already discussed aggregate demand equal to consumption plus investment. C is the consumption expenditure, I is the investments. If aggregate supply is that consumption plus saving, so we have to draw that aggregate supply curve with regard to that consumption expenditure saving, and first of all we have to make that aggregate supply schedule. So I have to make aggregate supply schedule. Aggregate supply schedule. Suppose there is an income, that is that Y, which is 0, and consumption expenditure 100. So what will that saving? Minus 100. Saving will be minus 100. If that person has income 0, so he have to satisfy his own needs, basic needs. Otherwise he will die. So he will borrow that money and he will consume the things. So whenever he will consume that 100 crores rupees, remaining that will be that saving. So it means that saving is that minus 100. If the income increases 0 to 100 and consumption increases 100 to 150, so saving will be minus 50. When that income increases 100 to 200 rupees, crores of rupees, that consumption increases 150 to 200 and that saving is 0. What is the saving? After the consumption from his income, what the remaining person is to be called that save. So if that income increases 200 to 300 rupees, now consumption increases 200 to 250, the saving will be 50 crores rupees. If that income increases 300 to 400 rupees and the consumption increases 300, the saving will be 100. Similarly, if the income increases 400 to 500 rupees, consumption increases 350 and saving will be 150. Similarly, 600 rupees crores rupees, this will be 400 consumption and saving will be 200. If that income increases 700, this will be 450, this will be 250. This is that one kinds of imaginary schedule or imaginary example of the different level of income, how much is the consumption and how much is the saving. So as per the Professor Keynes, we have already said that aggregate supply equal to consumption plus saving. Aggregate supply equal to consumption plus saving. So C plus S equal to S aggregate supply. 100 minus 100 equal to 100 minus 100 equal to 0. 150 minus 50 equal to 100. Similarly, consumption is 200 plus 0 equal to 200. Similarly, 250 plus 50 equal to 300 and 300 plus 100 equal to 400 and 350 plus 150 equal to 500 and 400 plus 200 equal to 600 and 450 plus 250 equal to 700. So this is that aggregate supply schedule. So aggregate supply schedule, which is that if the level of income 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, consumption will be like this: 100, 150, 200, 250, 300 and 350, 400, 450 respectively. Then that saving will be like this: minus 100, minus 50, minus 50, then 0, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, and this is that. Here is that, see it. What is that aggregate supply? 0, income is 0. When aggregate supply is 100, income is 100. When aggregate supply is 200, income is 200. When aggregate supply is 300, level of income is 300. When that 400 aggregate supply, level of income is 400. Likewise, aggregate supply is 500, which is the 500 level of income. Similarly, AS is 600, Y is also 600. AS is 700, AS is Y is also 700. It proves that AS equal to Y. So it means when we are saying that AS equal to C plus S and AS equal to Y equal to C plus S, it means Y equal to C plus S or Y equal to aggregate supply, which is to be called that NNP at factor cost or national income. Now it is clear what is that aggregate supply. We'll draw that diagram of this aggregate supply curve. We'll draw this diagram of this aggregate supply curve. O X and Y axis. So O X axis represents as that national income or that level of income, or national income, and Y axis represents as that consumption and saving. Consumption and saving. This is that 100 level of income, 200 level of income, 300 level of income, 400, 500, 600 and 700. So this is the consumption and saving. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. First is that zero level of income, consumption is 100. 100 level of income, consumption is 150. 200 level of income, consumption is 200. 300 level of income, consumption is 250. 400 level of income, consumption is 300. 500 level of income, consumption is 350. 600 level of income, consumption is 400. And 7, consumption is 450. This is called that consumption curve. Minus 100, minus 200. Saving is zero level of income, minus 100. Next, 100 level of income, minus 50. 200 level of income, 0. 300 level of income, 50. 400 level of income, 100. 500 level of income, 150. And 600 level of income, 200. And seventh level income, 250. This is called saving curve. This is that S, this is that C. Next is that aggregate supply curve, which is zero level of income, 0. 100 level of income, 100 level of income, 100. 200 level of income, 200. 300 level of income, 300. 400 level of income, 400. 500 level of income, 500. 600 level of income, 600. So this is called the aggregate supply curve. Aggregate supply curve AS, which is that consumption plus saving. Aggregate supply curve. Now it is clear. This is that saving curve, this is the consumption curve, this is the aggregate supply. For remember it, aggregate supply curve is that 45-degree angle. In both the level of income 0, consumption plus saving is 0. Level of income is 100, consumption plus saving is 100. level of income 100, 200. This is that angle will income increases, consumption increases, saving increases, and aggregate supply also increases. So this is called the aggregate supply curve, consumption curve, and saving curve. Dear students, we have already discussed that propensity to consume and propensity to a marginal propensity to consume and average propensity to consume. So next we will switch over to that propensity to save or saving functions. Propensity to save or saving functions. Saving function. Or it is to be called that propensity to save. This can be divided into two parts. One is average propensity to save, or it is called APS, and another is marginal propensity to save, that is MPS, average propensity to save and marginal propensity to save. Likewise, we have already known consumption function or propensity to consume is divided into two parts. One is that average propensity to consume, another is that marginal propensity to consume. Similarly, saving function is also divided into two parts. One is that average propensity to save, another is that marginal propensity to save. So you have already known that average propensity to consume is the consumption functions or that aggregate consumption upon that income or that national income, and symbolically AP is equal to C upon Y. Here is also same. Average propensity to save is the level of saving at the point where we can find out by saving upon income. That is, shortly we may say that APS equal to S upon Y. Similarly, marginal propensity to consume we have already known, that is that marginal propensity can be defined as the ratio of change in consumption, that is delta C, to that change in income, that is delta Y. Similarly, here marginal propensity to save is also the ratio in between that change in saving or delta S upon delta Y, that is that change in income. So we can symbolically say MPS equal to delta S upon delta Y. Delta S upon delta Y. Here is that we have already written here the consumption and saving, and we have to find out first that APS, that is S upon Y. APS, that is S upon Y, and MPS is delta S upon delta Y. So it means we have to find out that average propensity to save and average propensity to save with regard to that marginal propensity to save. So first of all, we will find out that APS, that is S upon Y. APS which is equal to S upon Y. Here, how much is that S upon Y? See it. minus 100 or 100 we could not determine. Minus 100 divided by 0. S is minus 100 we could not determine. Similarly, minus 50 divided by 150 equal to minus 50 divided by 150 0 3 equal to minus 0.5 minus 0.5. Similarly, S is that 50 divided by 300 S upon Y 50 divided by 300 APS. This is that 0 divided by 200. 0 is something equal to 0. Here is that 150 divided by 300 0 5 6 are 30, so 6 equal to 0.1. 1 means that is that 7 0.617. And next is the 100 divided by 4. 100 divided by 400 equal to 0.25. Next is 150 divided by 500. 150 divided by 500 equal to 5 3 is 15 equal to 0.35. 0.30. Next, 200 divided by 600 equal to 200 divided by 600 equal to 0.33. Similarly, so this is the average propensity to sell. Here is that income increases, consumption increases, and saving increases, APS also increases. Minus 0.5, 0, 1.17, 0.25, 0.30, 0.33. Like this, average propensity to save is also increasing. Next is that marginal propensity to sell, MPS. Marginal propensity to sell, MPS. Marginal propensity to sell. तो MPS equal to क्या है, delta S upon delta Y. Here is that first case we could not determine, so delta S is that minus 50 divided by minus 100. So that is that 150 minus 100. So 150 divided by 100 equal to minus 0.5, or we may say that 0.50. This is also 50 divided by 100 equal to 0.50. Similarly, this case also 0.50. This case also 0.50. Next also 0.50, 0.50, 0.50. It means marginal propensity to save will remain same. That is that 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So it can be plotted also in the diagram. This is that saving curve. First is that FPS. FPS any point, this point, which is that S upon Y, or suppose this point to this point, this is that delta Y, this is the delta S. Similarly, this is that delta Y and this is that delta S. Likewise, we have already explained in that marginal propensity to consume and that average propensity to consume. So in this case, we have already discussed, so I will not explain more about that average propensity to save and that marginal propensity to save. This is your homework. You have to draw the diagram and explain it with the numerical examples. And tomorrow I will start the relationship between marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save, and average propensity to consume and average propensity to save. This much is enough for today's. Thank you.